A vintage children's restaurant is all the rage in this small town. The kids can't get enough of that band of animatronics. Unfortunately for them though, a deranged killer hides under one of the suits. And when the kids enter the special room for their cake, all they get is death. And this would go on until the killer's inevitable death, causing him to be reborn and continue killing all those hired to work the night shift. Now, if you weren't sure if that was FNAF or Willy's Wonderland, that would make sense. There's a big difference between being scary Chuck E. Cheese and being a Five Nights at Freddy's ripoff. Now let's talk about it.
Wanna fuck daddy?
Are you Nicolas Cage? I think not, you robot whore.
I do!
Everybody is
Welcome to the jungle. We got fun and games.
section all your plays and pimps right now in the place to be.
First, let's address the elephant in the room. Or should I say weasel. This movie is a blatant and shameless ripoff of Five Nights at Freddy's. And no, I'm not just saying this because it's a haunted children's restaurant that specializes in birthday parties and animatronics. I mean, that does contribute, but no. The main reason I say this is because of the backstory. The filmmakers could have literally done anything in the world with a backstory. Anything at all. But it is darn near beat for beat Five Nights at Freddy's. And how Scott Cawthon and his team took legal action against Case Animatronics, but not Willy's Wonderland, really shocks me. It's fun, don't get me wrong, but if you know anything at all about the story of those games, you're going to be drawing so many more comparisons, beyond just going bad guys robots. But moving on to the movie. So back in the day, presumably around the 80s, given its style and vintage commercial, Willy's Wonderland was a restaurant beloved by families and children of all ages. I mean, the layout seems a bit odd, giving off more of a funhouse kind of vibe, but anyway, kids love the place, as well as the band of animatronic animals performing there. Unfortunately for the children, and, well, parents too, the special birthday family would be taken into a back room where they're killed by a serial killer. Willy. Whatever the man's name was. Oh yeah, and during the flashback where we see a little boy get killed, there's a little girl there that gets yanked away. And at one point in the movie, we see an animatronic, which is possessed by a man, say something along the lines of, "I've been waiting for a girl to play with." This could be nothing at all, but it could be implying something. Just a thought I had, given these are all male satanic serial killers. But that's just a theory. A film theory. Willy and his co-workers are eventually found out and scared for their lives. This causes them to retreat into the back room where they perform a satanic ritual, killing themselves and bringing them back in the form of the animatronics. They would then go on to terrorize the town, killing countless innocent people until the sheriff and the townspeople made a deal to feed them, in exchange for them staying in the restaurant. The movie explains why the town didn't fight by going, "We were gonna demolish the place, but the demolition man died, and we can't fight them. We don't want to look crazy." It's stupid, especially given how easy it was in the end, but oh well. We couldn't just make the restaurant stay open and feed them security guards. We don't want to look like a FNAF ripoff. Eventually, the wrong man comes to town. Nick Cage. When his car gets sabotaged, he agrees to work in exchange for a free repair, and officially becomes a member of Willy Wonderland's staff. Around 20 minutes into the movie is when we get our first animatronic fight scene, and from this point on it's just Nick Cage brutally dominating robots and playing pinball, while a group of teens try to, and eventually do break in order to try and get him out alive. Which is pointless, he doesn't need their help, all they did was got themselves killed. And that is the entire movie. The sheriff eventually comes by to check up on the place, she dies. The restaurant owner, Tex, he comes by in the morning to check out the place and gets blown up. Then Nick Cage and the final girl Liv drive off into the distance. I do want to make it clear that I did enjoy this movie. I mean, at times the acting wasn't that great, particularly by the younger cast, but I thought the Silent Man Cage was great. I thought most of the adult cast were good, you know, nothing that stands out, but they weren't bad, and the people playing the animatronics did a really good job as well. And the soundtrack, by the way, was really fun too. This movie does blatantly rip off Five Nights at Freddy's, no matter what the filmmakers want to tell you, or what the fan base for it thinks. There is just too much for it to be a coincidence. Way too much. And obviously, if it wasn't for FNAF in the first place, it's highly unlikely we would have gotten this movie at all, or at the very least, not when we got it. Just like the Banana Splits, it's a movie made to capitalize on the success of those games. Although, unlike the Banana Splits, they just, again, blatantly ripped it off. I did have fun with it though, particularly all the moments where Cage and the animatronics were on screen, and I would rate 2021's Willy's Wonderland an 8 out of 10. I know I complain quite a bit, but I can't stress enough how little they tried to hide the fact they ripped FNAF off. It's honestly mind-boggling how Scott Cawthon, or nobody representing him, stepped in to shut this shit down. If you've seen this movie, I'd love to hear your thoughts on it down in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Have a nice day.
Looking for more horror fun?
You're goddamn right.
Then check out the VHS comic book series, a parody of the horror genre that follows the lives of 3 teens as they fight to survive a horror movie, where every day is loaded with blood, boobs, and buds. The first 2 issues can be found in the description below.
I was obsessed with the VHS.